All right, all you snowboarders of the internet, we're here, we're live, we're taking your questions. Get them in the chat box wherever it appears on your device. I'm going to be answering your questions. So we're going to try to get you situated with your snowboard gear or some of your bad riding habits, or maybe you just need horrible life advice. I don't know. Anyways, so we're going to do that. We got a poll going on inside that chat too about if we're going to do a Sunday night live stream, which would be 9 p.m. this Sunday Mountain Standard Time. So make sure that you enter that as well. And if you're looking for another poll to get in on, there's one on the community tab for this channel. We're just trying to figure out if you guys will watch something that's over 30 minutes long, because I'm working on that pant deconstruction video, and so far it's beefy. It's a very, very beefy video. So we got that going on. Hopefully you guys catched yesterday's top 5. I dropped it a little later. I wanted to see how it would do in a different time slot rather than earlier in the morning for us here in the United States. I dropped it in the evening. So hopefully you found yourself checking out some resort carvy cruisers, and hopefully we'll get some questions in here. I'll be able to answer those for everyone, and we'll go from there. Super chats do get a spin of the wheel, so no prizes this week, but I'm thinking maybe Sunday I'll put something up on there, hopefully, if I can get some other stuff done. But yeah. All right, we got a super chat in from Eugenie Shebeka. Do you know if Jones' quality changed over recent years? I enjoyed a Mountain Twin until it delammed underfoot after 5 days of riding. Thanks for all the wisdom you shared. So there was a year where they were trying some new epoxy, and they were having some delam issues. You should have been able to get that warranted. No questions asked. I haven't had any issues with it, but I do know that whenever they change their epoxy, they go through this weird refinement phase where they're like, oh shit, we've got to warranty that stuff and whatnot. It's something to do with like what SWS has going on. But overall, I still think they're super quality boards. Ooh, beware of frostbite. I know it's the summer, but beware of it. All right, we got fruit poop loops. Socks, thinner the better. It depends. I do think that thinner socks do allow for just a better fit inside the boot, less likelihood of moisture build up so that you end up getting frostbite, stuff like that. But a medium thick sock isn't a bad thing. And if you're one of those people that's just a comfort rider, so you don't really care too much about performance, then a thick sock really isn't going to kill you. All right. Okay. All right. We got one here from Zach Trozian. 2023 Jones Mind Expander versus Karua Transition Finder. Can I make my mind up for a do-it-all board? Very little park, if any at all. Is the Karua a forgiving board when I get lazy at the end of the day? It is. You got to remember the 2023 Mind Expander got camber this year, so it becomes a little bit more aggressive of a board compared to what it was. Though both, if you're doing very little park at all, you probably want to go with the Mind Expander over the Transition Finder. The Transition Finder is just a weird shape freestyle board more than anything. It's kind of like for guys like me that find themselves spinning less and less and riding switch less and less and just need a board that can handle the park but still rip a turn. So, yeah. Let's see. We got one here from Will Kelly. I know the best boot is the one that fits your foot and fits your needs, but what do you think of the Solomon Dialogue Lace SJ boot? Solomon makes solid boots, but they're behind technology-wise compared to every other brand out there. If you go look, they really haven't had a big boot overhaul other than adding BOA and creating Straight Jacket. And Straight Jacket, I think, is like 5 years old at this point, and them adding more BOA in there. They've been doing that over the last 8 years. Their liners tend to not have as good of foam in there. I mean, they make a good boot. It's just they're not where everyone else is right now. We got a super chat from Jack Offbeat. Pull the trigger on the superposition at 57 or wait for the smaller sizes. 145 pounds, size 10 boot. That's a tough one. You can get away with the Nerd superposition 157, but it's going to be more aggressive. And if that's what you're looking for, that's great. Just understand it's going to be a stiffer flex and more aggressive for you than it was for me at 200 pounds. With the size 10 boot, it's going to fit on the 57, no problem at all. I know that the new small size, I think Jordan said it's going to be like a 50 or a 51. And I don't think that's going to come out till next year now. There's a chance it might be coming this fall. I haven't double checked with him since the last time I talked with him, but it sounds like it might be next year. So it's kind of your call in there. If you're looking for like more stiff and aggressive, then yeah, the 57 for sure. But if you're looking for like how I described it in that review and at your weight, you really do want to wait for that smaller size. Oh, if there had been a prize, you would have won, but you get the coming soon. All right. Let's see. We got yellow backpack guy. She's a 10, but she skis. If she skis, she can't be above a 6. Sorry. All right. Now let's see. Tyler Hypenarowski. While we're talking about boots, thoughts on DC. Overall good boots and quality. Heard mixed reviews on build quality. Curious to hear your opinion and experience with DC boots. It's right at that like $239 to $250 price point. If you go lower and cheaper, they're trash. But if you get like the mid to the high, they're okay to good, depending on which model it is. The big thing to look at with them is on the boot, every boot. So there should be like a little piece right here. It's the toe flex point. You want that to be stiffer. And if they put a softer one, it tends to crease at the toe and blow the seam right there. This is what I've seen over the years. So you just want to check that material on there. Otherwise, they're not bad. But like I said, when you get the cheaper stuff is cheaper for a reason. So yeah. Okay. All right. Sam Elms, ride and love my large Super Pig 154, weight 190 pounds, size 11 boots. Makes me think I want the 155 piece Seeker rather than the 51 for the width by the back inserts and stability. Think I'll be good? No, get the 51. Get the 51. You are going to be fucking miserable on that on a 55. It's a completely different beast. So yeah. All right. We got Z22. I have a Arbor Frank April 156 for park and a Burton Big Gulp 59 for Powder Big Mountain. What should I get next? 5'11", 200 pounds. You need an all-mountain freestyle board, either twin or directional twin in there. You need probably something in about a 157, 58-ish range in there. You know, like your Captain Mega Merc, your Jones Mountain Twin, maybe a regular Mercury, Rosinal Revenant, something like that. That's just like that all mountain freestyle, do it all. That's kind of the in between those two boards because they literally sit at opposite ends of the spectrum. So you need something in the middle, maybe like a Ride Shadow Band or an Algorithm as well. Steven Mendoza. How will I know I'm ready to advance from a rocker board to camber? Are there prereqs I need to master? No, you just need to go buy camber and eat shit. You're going to eat shit. First day, you're going to hook an edge. You're going to be miserable. You're going to hate life. And then when it clicks, you're going to be like, I am the fucking happiest man on earth. You know, no, you need to get off the camber or get off the reverse camber and get on the camber because you're probably actually developing bad habits at this point now. So it's time. It's time to go ride. And maybe you don't need to go full camber right away. Like ease yourself in with some cam rocker because that's really good. The big thing you got to understand coming from reverse camber into camber is reverse. You steer right at the insert pack and it gets a little loose. And if you lean back, you wash out. With camber, it's more like you're clinging to the ground and you steer out at the contact points. So you're actually driving on the outside of your foot. It's a different power dynamic. So I would recommend that you go cam rocker or flat to rocker before you go, if you're coming off full reverse, before you go to full camber. All right. Mr. Sogurl with the super chat. Hey, Avran, I would like to buy a new board that's from a smaller brand that I can find in Europe that is a good resort carver. I'm 200 pounds, 175 centimeters. go grab an amplet. Yep, get an amplet or a Karua. But for amplet, you want a good carver. You want like the Pentaquark, maybe a Soli Grail. If you're going with Karua, you'd be looking at like the Pencil Plus, maybe a Transition Finder, a Cafe Racer. Probably the Cafe Racer over the Transition Finder. That's the way I would go with that. And remember, summer tourists and mountain towns are the worst. Okay, let's see. Next question's from Mr. Force 10. Have you had a chance to check the Union Ultra? No. I will not be getting on those till probably November. Colin Dole, what is the point of the Burton Genesis bindings? To hold your boots in when you strap into your snowboard so you can ride down the hill. Angel Garcia, are FP insoles legit or just a gimmick? They're legit. Okay, let's see. All right, we got Waco. I have the 32 lash double boa Bradshaw. It fits my foot, but it's bulky. And after 7 short trips, 4 days open to close, start to be mush. Something with same fit and a bit stiffer. Get away from 32. It's the foam that they use, and then they don't make their shells stiff enough, so they just collapse in on them. Like they're just a soft boot company. I remember talking with them one time, and they're like, "We've got this really stiff boot, and it's probably too much for you." And I looked at it, and I just went like this, and and it folded in. And I looked at them, and I like took my boot off, and was just like, "See this? This is 80 days on this boot, and it's not flexing." I was like, "This is like what I would wear for around town." That's the unfortunate thing about 32s. They just don't make a stiff boot. We used to have a joke that it was 32 days, they're done. Okay. Slushy Shredder. Hey, Angry. Are the air high backs by Battalion basically the same thing as the AT Opti high back from K2? Do they adjust the same? They adjust. Yeah, it's not the same. Like it's not the little twist knob that K2 has, but it's on the side. So they remove the high back flat, the forward lean adjustment off the back, so that they adjust in the rotation on the sides of them. And that's kind of where they sit. So it's the same concept. It's just their take on it. Okay, Justin Couture. I'm 155 pounds or years, man. You got to specify. I need a soft, playful, buttery board that can handle medium-sized jumps. I'm on the East Coast. What do you recommend? Got to be soft though. But thanks, Avran. So you probably, if you want something that can still handle jumps that's still soft, this is what I would look at: Solomon Sleepwalker, the Rome Artifact, not the Artifact Pro, the regular Artifact. You could even go to a Gangplank because you're going to get snap out of the rod in the tip and the tail, but it's a flat to rocker profile in there. But I think being on the East Coast, you probably want the snap of camber. That's why I'd recommend the Artifact. You could do the Ride Kink. I would look at the K2 World Peace over the Geometric. The World Peace will have just a little bit more snap, but it's still soft and playful in the tip. If you want a wild card option, I'd look at the Rosinal Jigsaw with that cam rocker. You're going to get camber underfoot, which will give you a snap. It's good on jumps, but then you got that rocker in the tip and the tail. That's going to be buttery. Plus, it's a great price point board. You can pick like last year's up from anywhere from 20 to 60% off, depending where you look. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. The Dude, do you know or remember anything about the 1819 Rosinal XV Black Ops? Found one and can't find much info about it. 2018 was more of a free ride directional shape. Later models went more twin. Yeah, so that was actually the first year sashimi in that one, but it's got a different core in it, so it's stiffer. So it's a stiff sashimi. Okay, Ryan. I'm going to butcher this Italian last name. Gianno Cavo. Picking up the LibTech Dynamo today through the Evo link on your page. Any binding recommendations? Looking at the Nitro Team, Union, Atlas, etc. Need damp bindings for hard charging. Hashtag spray all skiers. Okay, so if you want damp bindings, you do not want the Atlas. You're going to feel everything underfoot. You'd be better off going with that Nitro Team. But because you charge, you may want to go up to the Phantom. So the reason you want to go with the Nitros over the Unions, that air pad that they have in their binding, especially in the heel, really does an amazing job of dissipating all energy that comes up underfoot. Whereas the Atlas, you feel everything with it. You'd almost be better if you're looking at Union going to the new Ultra or even a Strata over the Atlas, because the Atlas, you just feel everything. Otherwise, if you want something else that's got good dampening in it and it's a binding that not everyone's going to have, you should go check out some of the Battalion bindings like the Blaster, the Astro, maybe the Atom, which the Atom is going to be stiffer and more pricey. But the reason I'm recommending the Battalion bindings, they redid them. So they gave them the Rome chassis. But if you look at their foot pad, they do a dual density foot pad that's extra thick and it absorbs chatter even better. And since you want something for hard charging, don't go with the ASIM wrap, go with the full wrap. And that will really, really help you out with what you're looking to do. So, yeah. And we got our moderator, Billy Ray Valentine, in here. Everyone give him shit or not. Please don't give him shit. Okay. Let's see. What the fuck? No, it's dumb. Luke DeSaunier. Are LibTech and Neversummer finally going to admit the traditional camber is king? Mervin's just going to push C3 until they just be like, we keep extending the camber out, and then they'll just call camber C3. I'm convinced that's what they're going to go with. Neversummer will just keep adding more rocker and camber zones until the board looks like this at some point. And then the riders, when they ride rails, are just going to lock in the bend, and there's going to be like 3 rails in a row, and it's just going to be like that. And they're going to be sliding. That's kind of where we at. All right. Let's see. Okay. Let's take the super chat from Billy Ray Valentine. R.I.P. Outstackers Adventures. Rest in peace. R.I.P. Less than 100 days until Mammoth. Selling a bunch of boards. Touching lots of butts. Vloggers suck. YNWA. And no one cares that you ride a Donic. All right. Okay. Patrick. Surprised the Shadow Band didn't make yesterday's top 5. Does it not, Carp? Did you even look at the shapes on the boards of yesterday's top 5? Why would I put an all-mountain freestyle board in with a resort carvy cruiser? That makes no fucking sense. Now does it? Okay. Let's see. TJ Folks, if you met a girl who was a 10, but you found out she wore a Ruroc, would that be a deal breaker? Would she even know who she's dating? I mean, she'd be like, I can only see right in front of me, and these shitty lenses and these goggles are blocking my vision. Like, she ain't no 10. If she wears a Ruroc, she's a -5. She probably wears that because she rides the short bus to the resort, you know, the ones with the, like, she's in the back, like, licking the window. She's like, Frost is so pretty. I love Frost. Yeah. Yeah, that's the type of people that wear Rurocs. Speaking of Ruroc wearers, I got this screenshot sent to me today, and it is comedic gold. It's from Twitter, and it's at Jonathan Buckhouse. Hey, Jonathan, just wanted to swing by and congratulate you on your induction into the 2022 hashtag Punk Bitch Hall of Fame. Congratulations, motherfucker. Jonathan Buckhouse's response, hell yeah, brother, with the arm emoji. Dude doesn't even realize he's getting fucking clowned. He's a sped. He's a sped. So, oh well. Oh well. Okay, let's take some more questions here. All right. Esri Martinez, I want a golden orca. Should I get one? Yeah, click the link in the product description. I want the commission. I'm broke. Ah, okay. Dan Kelly, hey Angry, does the Rome Katana have more lateral drive than the Vices or not? Since they're both asym? Out of the chassis, it's exactly the same. The only difference you're gonna feel is in the straps, and it depends what your katana you go to and how you set the strap. Because like you can move the strap, in there. That's really it. By and large, like the feel of them, you're splitting hairs at that point. It's in my opinion, it's not worth it. It's like just get a vice, save the cash. All right. Mr. Suguro. All right. Which ampliboard do you think would be good as a resort carver and a little bit of powder? Solely Grail, 100%. Okay. All right. We got one here for Jacob Iverson. I've been starting to look into getting a powder board, but don't know whether I want a volume shift or a more traditional length board. What are the pros, cons of each? If you're riding like Colorado snow, it's lighter, and you're riding a flatter resort, a volume shifted board is better because you don't have as much surface area length. You don't have as much surface length. You've got the same amount of surface area, but it's in the width. It allows you to pump easier through the flats and keep your speed. If you're riding heavier snow, it's steeper, it's more wide open. You're not riding trees. That's where you really want to go with more of a regular length board because you can put that power further out than right underfoot like you would with the volume shift. There's pros and cons to each, and people be like, I ride my volume shift above tree line all the time. I'm sure you do. You're probably the same guy that was talking to me all about carving and how you owned a Donic and and you suck dicks with your butthole. I don't fucking know. I'm just flapping your gums at me. You can ride both in each terrain, but you have to look at like snow conditions, how much use you're going to get with it, and what type of terrain you actually ride. And that's going to be what dictates whether you go with more of a longer board or a short wide. So hopefully that answers your question. All right. I see we got more people in here right now. If you're just getting in here, you got questions, get them in the chat box wherever it shows up on your device. I'm going to answer them. Super chats, get a spin of the wheel. No big prizes this week. Working on some stuff for the future that's going to be huge, hopefully. So, yeah, got that going on. Okay. Let's see. Dylan Cerruti, seems like rosin boards are significantly more expensive this year, more than other brands. Jigsaw and the Revenant, both up $80. Any reason why? Inflation, more tech, different. Inflation, shipping prices, cost of labor, material costs, basically like trying to get it through customs faster. And it's a whole series of things. It's everything going on in the world. You just kind of have to look at it and go, well, this is the world we live in, and that's it. I mean, you think I like paying $5 for a box of Cheez-Its? I don't, but I will because they're delicious. Remember when they were $2.50? Bullshit. Centauri 2410. Hey, Avran, how many boards is too many for a Quiver? Everyone seems to have a different number. I have a lot. Is it a personal choice or am I just a hoarder? I mean, yes. Yes to all of that. It comes down to it. Like, I'm downsizing everything I have right now because my theory is that I could probably get away with like 3 boards, maybe 4. And that's all I need. But I've got friends like Kevin who have a whole room full of boards and shit that he doesn't even ride, that he just suddenly accumulated for no apparent reason. But it comes down to like, what's your space? How much do you actually ride that board or any of your boards? Like if you have a board that you only ride 1 day a year and maybe some years you don't ride it, why do you have it? There's no point in having it. You're hoarding it at that point. But it was like people would always say, well, you have a cool bean. And And I'm like, yeah. And that used to be the board that I would test bindings on. And they were like, so how many days a year did you ride it? I was like, 30, 35 days. And they were like, oh, wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. And then they'd be like, you have a powder board. And how many days do you ride it? And I was like, as much as we get powder. Some years I would ride it like 60 days. And some years I'd ride it like 20 days. Then, there's my All Mountain freestyle board that's sitting right here. My Telos Mike Rankwit. And this goddamn thing probably got 100 days on it, give or take, from all the abuse that I put it through in there. And I rode that one all the time. And then I've got a lumberjack underneath it that I think I only rode 4 or 5 days last year, but the year before, I think I rode it like 20, 25 days. So you got to kind of ask yourself, like, do I ride it? Do I have this purpose? Like, I always love seeing these people that they're like, look at my Quiver, and they've got 75 fucking snowboards. And I'm like, that just looks like it takes up space. And then you got to know where you put them and how you organized them and shit. Like, if you're not riding it more than 5 times a year, I don't think you need it. It's time to pass it on and give it to someone that's actually going to ride it and clap it out. That's kind of my theory. Like, it's funny because I say that, and I've got an Amplid Pillow Talk sitting over here that's just destroyed. I always forget I have this board. It sits behind the door to this room, and it's wall mounted. And it's actually my rock board that I hardly ever ride, but I blew the sidewall on it, and I always forget it's there. Maybe I should get rid of it. So I don't know. But it's a very fine line between having a functional quiver and being a hoarder. And there's a lot more hoarders than people with functional quivers. Like, my favorite is hearing stories of these guys in the Midwest that own all these powder boards. They don't travel for powder. They just keep living in the Midwest. And opening day, they're like, I'm taking my Orca, my Cool Bean, and my LibTech Retro Rocket for opening day. And I'm like, why are you taking 3 boards for opening day for 300 vertical? That makes no frigging sense. But to each their own, I guess, right? So, okay. We got Ryan Stewart, 6'5", 240 pounds, size 12 boots. Need a do-it-all board for shredding everywhere. What do you think of one? The Solomon Luif Paradise 163 wide. That's 2. No. The GNU Rider's Choice 166 wide. Make sure it's the C3, not the C2. The Yes Standard 167 wide is options. The Standard is probably the most versatile out of all 3 that you have listed. That'd be the one I would push you to. All right. We got Sean Pitts. Angry. Current board is a 2021 Ride Berserker, advancing from Groomers to Backcountry. Big Bear in California, Keystone and Breck. I'm 195 pounds, 10.5 boot. Would you recommend for an aggressive backcountry board? I mean, you have it right there. Go ride it. Sounds like you're fine. Although, I mean, if you're coming from Groomers to backcountry, and this better be real fucking backcountry, like, not like, I went out a little gate on the side of a run and I went down through some trees and then I came back out and got on the fucking chairlift. No, I mean, if you're going to go ride backcountry, it better be real fucking backcountry where you have to call search and rescue to save your ass. And you should be taking a level 1 AVI course and a wilderness first responder course so that you are prepared for your choices out there. Very big on that shit. This whole, like, I'm going out a gate and it's the backcountry. I'm like, I ain't the backcountry. I'm like, the fucking ski patrol can throw a rope to you and pull you back in bounds. Like, no, fuck that. Like, you're going to ride real backcountry, but you're fine with the Berserker. Okay. I wish I was a grapefruit. Hey, man, do you know if Ride changed the camera profiles of the Zero or Bench Warmer up? They changed up the naming, but I'm not sure if it's just marketing or an actual change. It's marketing. It's good old-fashioned marketing. Mike Frazier, my friend that is the brand manager now, sales manager, brand manager, he basically said he was trying to make the camber profiles more uniform, and he's like, we're getting rid of all this weird hoopla. And then I looked at it, and I was like, it's still fucking weird. Like, it should just be cam rocker, directional cam rocker, camber, flat to rocker. Like, basic ass shit. Like, then I wouldn't have to make all these fucking explain videos. Bio, what size board would you recommend to someone who's 210 pounds and size 12 boots looking at the Capita Outer Space Living? At 210, you're probably trying to get that for all mountain freestyle use. So you need the wide minimum, I think it's a 50, 58 wide is what it comes in. But I think you ideally would want like the 60-ish. I think it's 60, 61, something like that. Maybe 62, but you should be good. All right. Let's see. Let's go through. Falling behind on some questions here. Let's see what we got. Stu 1991. Yo, Angry. Burton Hometown Hero versus Capita Megamerc. After a board for the whole resort's thoughts. Wouldn't even look at the Hometown Hero as a board for riding the whole resort. That's it. It has limitations, whereas the Megamerc is more balanced and well-rounded. On top of the fact, I just love the Megamerc. It's just such a fucking good board. Jay Moore. At what point does a quiver become a collection? When you keep asking me for board holders like that so that you can line your goddamn man cave, and you never ride your snowboards, but you dust them every week and you wipe them with a diaper, and you make sure that they never collect rust, and you only showcase them on Dig My Quiver. Ian Sava. Man, you are 40 years old. Go adopt some kids. Stop hanging out with kids. I adopted those fucking kids. I brought them up the same way the 40-year-olds brought me up when I was snowboarding. It's the same fucking concept. I ain't having no babies. Ugh. Steve K, going into my third year of snowboarding. What is ankle steering, and is it different than just shifting edge to edge? Yes. Ankle steering is the movement of the ankle flexion. So you're either pushing your toe down or you're pulling it up on the front foot. So if you're pulling it up, you're disengaging the front foot while you push down to steer it from the rear foot, or you're pushing down with both feet to steer it. It's all in the micro movements and managing everything like that. What you're probably used to doing is I roll up on my toes and then I roll up on my heels, and that's how I ride. This actually changes the whole micromanagement of how you engage the effective edge of the board and how you steer those carves and what you actually do. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. The fuck kind of question is this? From Lorenzo Noble. I just bought a Mountain Twin while fixing the bindings. On the shiny side, I scratched it with my fingernails. You think when I use it, it will be destroyed and I will have wasted money? I think you're just... No! Fuck! You people are the fucking worst. Oh my god, I got a scratch on my snowboard. Oh, it's the fucking end of the world. Fuck! It's a scratch. You're fine. Some stupid ass skier is going to step on the goddamn thing in the lift line anyways. It's going to fall off a rack. Some little fucking turd nugget crotch goblin's going to throw his ski pole into it while it's on the rack. It's going to get banged around. Like, fucking get over it. If you're worried about it, buy a sticker on angrysnowboarderstore.com and slap it over it. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Ugh. Fruit Poop Loops with the super chat. Slim, please come back. It's been an interesting summer without the Slimothy Whitman. Eat your muscle cheese, people. All right. 4x4 therapy. I'm trying Oz backcountry this year, trying to decide if I should ride the Dynamo or the Y. Thoughts? What makes a good BC board? Because of like the terrain that you guys have in Oz, I'd actually go with the Y over, because you just end up with like you got your steep and then it's like flat and then it's like you get some, it's like rolly terrain. The Y would give you a better control in that because it's got a shorter tail base on it, so you can really push off that back foot and really get it going. That's why I would do it. Dynamo's great, don't get me wrong, but I would take the Y first thing. Ugh. Oh well, as Avran, hope you are well. I'm alive. I'm here. Which volume shifter board would be good in low angle pow and trees to replace my battalion camel toe and improve on it? So if you probably want to go to something a little bit stiffer than your camel toe, so I'd go to the camel 2. You already like 3BT, it's clear. It's gonna be a little stiffer, give you a little bit more power if you wanted to go that route. Otherwise, you want to go something more volume shifted, I would look at the Rome Stalefish. That's a good solid one. Maybe a Ride Super Pig. There's a backslash carbon coming out that's going to be stiffer from Telos. I have not ridden it, so I do not know how it rides, but it's basically just a carbon backslash. That would be one that I would definitely consider. Let's see what else. I'm trying to think. I think those are like the big 3 that I would go with. Okay. All right. Whew, bouncing around. Let's see what we got here. Rantin' and Raven. I'm doing a cat trip this winter. I'll be taking my K2 instrument. Undecided on my backup board, though. Either my Jones Mountain Twin or I have a 2011 K2 gyrator. Take the gyrator because if it dumps big, you will actually want to ride that over your instrument just because the way the rocker shape is on that board. That thing is absolutely phenomenal in just wide open blower pow. Like I actually have a gyrator. Well, it's a Turbo Dream with gyrator graphic. It's a custom, but I used to have a gyrator for pow. That thing was absolutely amazing. Okay. Johnny F. I'm currently looking for a free ride board, and I like the Jones Flagship, the Karua Cafe Racer, and the Amplid Solar Grail. What can you tell me about the differences between them? So the Flagship is more your traditional shaped board. Overall, it's going to be easier to ride switch, cam rocker, a little more damp than the Cafe Racer, but not as damp as the Solar Grail. You also got the traction tech, so you're going to have grip right underfoot. With the Cafe Racer, that is more of a carving charger board, in my opinion, and less of a free ride board. In tight trees, it absolutely sucks. It's wide open terrain that it comes alive. The Solar Grail is kind of the mix between the two of them. Great for carving, great for pow. You got a slight 3D shaping in the nose of that, if I remember correctly. I think it does. I think it's got some kind of. I knew it. I think that also has 3D crust buster in it too. I think that's what I'm thinking of in there. But anyways, what that'll do is it dampens better when it slams into harder snow. I mean, it kind of comes down to what shape you want and what flex you want. All right. Okay. Or Ian, how many years do you think you can do this until you get tired of answering the same questions over and over again? You do realize I have been doing online reviews for almost 20 years for snowboarding. I've been answering these questions for almost 20 fucking years. Actually, longer than that if you think about the years that I worked in a shop and wasn't doing this online when I was a teenager and stuff. It's like, it's okay. The age of 45, I think, is retirement. Hoping. Retirement or death, whichever comes first. Okay. Garth Pierce, hello. What boots would you recommend for US size 10, very wide feet, general resort ride in the Alps with some fresh when I get the chance? Cheers from the UK. The best boot's the one that fits your foot and fits your needs. You're going to have to go try stuff. If you have super wide feet, you're pretty much looking at like the Solomon Dialogue Wide or any of the Wide series from Solomon. Certain models of Vans, certain models of K2 Ride, Deluxe, and you probably want to take a look at Flux boots as well. But you're going to want to try on everything and figure out what fits your foot and fits your needs. I wish it was a grapefruit. Thanks. One more from me. Would you say the ride bench warmer is stiffer than other high-end freestyle decks? Outsiders, Beats, etc. Does it fit in there? The Outsiders is stiffer than the bench warmer, but or not the Outsiders, the Beast. The Beast is definitely stiffer than the bench warmer. The Outsiders and the bench warmer, they just have different sweet spots. Like the bench warmer sweet spot is a little bit bigger. Torsionally, I think the Outsiders is stiffer than the bench warmer, but not by much. You're basically splitting hairs between these two. Noodles, are Jones boards overpriced for what they are, or are they worth money? That's up to you to decide. I mean, I have people that try to tell me that fucking buying shitty ass Amazon boards from no name brands are too expensive and overpriced. Personally, as someone that likes to drive European cars that are very expensive and bougie, I don't find them overpriced. I think you get a good quality. Also, do they come with structure in the base? I'm trying to remember. I think they do. I'm just trying to remember. I don't think the samples I rode did, but I think they do because they're coming out of SWS. Okay, let's see. Anyways. Okay, Dan Kelly, what current board would you say is closest to the original Ride DH from the, I think it was 0307-ish era? Thank you. Shadowban. Ride Shadowban. It'll be the closest. Okay. Rainer 000, looking for a traditional camber board with a radial side cut, size 11.5 boots. Are there any options out there? Yes, there are. So you want to look at the Rome Mod Stale, Rome Agent, pretty much half of the line from Public Snowboards, Capita Outsiders, Nitro Beast T3. What else? I'm trying to think. There's something else in there. Brain farting on that. Signal, Park Pro, the Jamie Lynn 96. It's new for this year. It's straight camber and a radial side cut from LibTech. I think that's everything that I can think of right now, at least. So, yeah. All right. Okay. Ivan Shintov. Any changes to the 2023 grades compared to the 2022 one? Graphic. Pride Guy, do you ever plan to get an intern to review helmets? I found out that hitting interns is actually illegal. And then, if I build one of my Rube Goldberg machines where they have to wear the helmet and the mallet hits them in the head, that may cause brain damage and I will get sued by their family. So probably not. I'm not going to answer that. Noodles. I found a boot that fits my foot and my needs in K2 and DC at the same price point. Which brand makes a higher quality boot overall? K2. We got Brandon with the super chat. Best binding for a torsionally stiff board. Rome Cleaver, Bent Metal Solution, Union Atlas Pro, Ride A10, and the Now Overdrive. So, and spray skiers, everyone. Spray skiers. And then we got Noodles who wants bring on the stickers with the super chat. There you go, buddy. You won a pack of stickers. Email me info@angrysnowboarder.com with your mailing address, and I'll get those in the mail. I got to drop off a bunch of stuff tonight. If it's not raining, I'll walk down to the post office box and drop it off. Homebrew, yo, Avran, I rode a Solomon Villain and loved the Camrock. What are some other good similar boards? So, okay, so you like that Camrocker in there. Let's see. So the Rome Agent is kind of similar to that, to the Villain. K2 Geometric, even though it's almost basically full camber with like a little micro rocker in there. The Rosinal Jigsaw, the Nidecker Sensor, not the Sensor Plus, but the regular Sensor. The Marhar Dark Side, the new one, not the old one, the new one. Even the Marhar Invasion is kind of like that. The Niche Wraith. And I think that gave you a bunch of options. Okay, Sean Wilson, how does a dance hall compare to a K2 party platter? It's more directional, so it doesn't and it's got a slight taper on it. The side cut's better on the dance hall than the party platter. Party platter's a little more stable in the park, in my opinion. Just seems to be a little bit wider and more traditional feeling out at the contact points. Pop-wise, the party platter has more snap than the dance hall in it, but if I had to take one for railing carves, it will be the dance hall all day. The sweet spot in the dance hall is a little bit bigger in the tip, so you can really lock in a press easier, but it holds better on the party platter. So hopefully that answers that. All right. Okay. Fruit Poop Loops. If I win any stickers, donate it to Noodles. All right. Spray skiers, people. Spray skiers. All right. We got Javier Cordova. Thanks for the recommendations on the ride, Commissioner. Picked one up yesterday. Saw one of the winners at the Baker Bank Slalom using it. Yeah. The Aluminum Monster is a beast of a board. Beast. Ooh, support the Shred Foundation, people. We got Mel Birdie. You think the Sigma Park Platinum is a good board for kind of everything? Not for everything. It'll handle riding the mountain, but on powder, it's going to completely lack. It's a twin. It's a cambered park twin. It's not going to be able to handle it as well. Same thing with free riding. But if you're using it to rip around the mountain to get to the park and you're doing a lot of side hits, ollie off rollers, it'll be fine. That was one I haven't ridden, but I know it's based on the Park Pro, so riding that, I think it'll be fine. Okay. Charles, you find any affiliate links to get the Supermatics? They haven't shipped yet, so I will not have a link for that yet. Ezekiel Chentnik. My daughter's 132 pounds, is riding a 142 Warpig. She's a hard charger and needs a new board. Recommendations: she's strong, loves speed, and spraying zombie ski hordes. Hell yeah. It's the best way. So she's looking for like a charger. You know what I would do? Get her off the Warpig and put her on the Peace Seeker for this year, because it comes down all the way in a 138 and at 132 pounds, the 138. So she'll actually go to a smaller board, but it's going to be wider and more aggressive. Actually, it'll probably be about the same width as that 42 Warpig. I haven't really looked at specs, but it's going to be more aggressive and have more power off the tail. That's what I would put her on if you want to put her on something for hard charging, straight free ride. Fire cures all. Over most heads, tried on some Adidas boots that fit me properly, a bit on the expensive side. Any experience or insight on Adidas boots? Yeah, Adidas pulled out of snowboarding. Good luck. If anything breaks, getting a warranty. Dahanaj the Curse. Stromwolf or the Golden Orca? Sure, whatever you need. And anyone that's arguing that Adidas hooks up riders, you're full of shit because they dropped everyone and killed their program. And all they did was sell their back stock at the same price to everyone. I called it. When Nike pulled out, I said Adidas will be next. And Adidas was next. They don't do shit. They came in, threw a bunch of fucking money around, which is what typically happens with brands like that. And when they do not have a good ROI, they're fucking out. That's exactly it. On top of the fact the Adidas boots the first year were the biggest pieces of shit I've ever seen. You'd put them on and you'd feel like you were fucking pigeon-toed because they hired the old DC designer that made the worst DC boots on earth. Anyways, yeah. So that's where I'm at on that. Let's see. Did I miss some questions up here? Okay. Anyways, all right. Earl Stout III. It's a very regal name, sir. Are you a landholder? Is it Baron Earl Stout III? Thoughts on Burton as a company? They're directionless right now, and they're being too woke for their own fucking good. I can't think of who the girl was that was hired to be their ambassador and create like an inclusivity program and shit. And basically they told her that she was too scary for the white folk and they were doing it. And you know, they went around and they just sucked up every minority rider that they could and threw a contract at them. What are those kids going to do when the contract ends? Then you look at the chill program that they do. Let's drag these inner city kids up on the hill. Hey, look, oh, photo op, take the photos. Okay, back to the hood. If you die, you die. Sorry, that's what it is. Like Burton, their product's mediocre. Most of it's mid-range at best. Some of their higher-end stuff, they have some cool stuff. They got rid of the only board designer that they had that was worth a damn. JG's gone. He's working for K2 Ride now, I guess. What do you want to hear? Some of their outerwear is good, you know. You look at the direction that they're going in, it's trash. Trying to deal with them is like yanking teeth. It's not fucking fun for anyone. They're sitting around huffing their own farts, thinking it's Jenkum, drinking their piss like it's Kool-Aid. Like, no, get your shit together, Burton. You're supposed to be the fucking leader and the originator of it, and they're getting passed by. It's like done a whole bunch of stupid ass shit the last few years. And if you also look at all the bridges that they're burning with the shops that built that brand because they want to sell direct, you go look at where they're opening flagship stores. Go look at it. And go look at any account in a 50-mile radius and ask yourself, did that account help build Burton? And now they're doing it. I've got a Burton store here. It's the worst fucking snowboard shop in this town. It's the worst. I'd rather go to the shitty-ass rental shop that sells their demos that are 3 years old for almost full price than ever go to the Burton shop because they hired a bunch of people that don't fucking snowboard or that they just moved to the mountains and had snowboarded like 15 times. They got people that snowboard pretending to be snowboarders, trying to sell snowboards to people that snowboard. You got the blind leading the fucking blind there. It's not even worth the fucking time. I mean, you know, and then there's the whole trademark with forum thing. They let that slip so the trademark troll Josh Schoonover freaking got it. It's bullshit. Like, as a company, they're fucking atrocious. Bunch of mediocre shit. It's part of the reason I don't really go out of my way to try to get anything from them anymore because it's just, I fucking put 4 times the effort in for 1/10 the return that I would do with like a company like Rosinal. At least Rosinal, I'd make a phone call and I'm like, hey guys, I want to review your stuff, good, bad, or different. They're like, cool. Burton's like, well, you know, we're the cool guys. And I was like, stop sniffing your fucking farts, dude. You know, but yeah, Burton's like whole little fucking woketivism thing over there. Like, I'm happy that Zeb will end up back on Nitro when his contract's done. LJ will probably end up on Nitro or some other cool company, maybe Capita, stuff like that. I think he'll end up in Capita. You look at that, but fuck, you look at Burton, you're just like, and I just love how they're like, they do not take criticism as a brand at all. When you point out anything that's bad with their product, you're wrong. And I'm like, no, I fucking wrote it. I know what fucking happened. I've written a lot of product, probably written more than your product line manager ever has. Like, I ride stuff from everyone. It's kind of funny when I talk to every other company and they're like, hey, how does so-and-so's product ride compared to this to us? And I'll be like, okay, it does this, this, and this. And like, okay, what are we doing good? What are we doing wrong? With Burton, they're like, you're wrong. We have cool graphic. We woke. We're from Vermont, but we really wish we were from Colorado. We're trying to secretly move the brand to Colorado. Fuck them. That's where I'm at with Burton. Okay, All Out Productions. I'm on a Rosnell 1 meg for years now. Need something new. Looking at a dance hall. How do you think the two compare? Well, if you're on an old one that's clapped the fuck out, it's going to have more snap and power out of it. Just remember, it's a volume shifted board, so you ride it smaller. It's going to have a completely different dynamic than what you're used to. So when you actually look at that and how it rides, it's going to do it. Also, you're not going to have any grip tech underneath the feet of that board. It's got an old school radial side cut. If you ride any ice, you're probably going to notice. But if you ride anywhere that isn't really icy, you probably won't notice. But you're going to a whole new board. It's going to be completely different. So, all right. So we ended the poll. Sunday night, 9 p.m. live stream this week. 83% said yes, and 9% said no. 6% give me another night, sir, out of 161 votes. All right. I guess we're doing a live stream this Sunday at 9 p.m. So, all right. Let's see. Okay. Marley, what are the super wide, buttery wide, and true twins coming out? Marhar Lumberjack. That's a really good one. To an extent, you could throw the War Pig in there, even though it's not a true twin, but you could throw that in there. The Battalion Party Wave Twin. Let's see. There's the Yes 2020, but it's got that 3D hull, so you probably don't want to go with that on there. K2 Bottle Rocket, K2 Party Platter. You could check out some of the Signal, like the Park Series wides as well. So, yeah. All right, we got one here from Noodles. In your opinion, what is the best boards for all mountain riding in constantly icy conditions? So that's like your LibTech Dynamo, maybe a LibTech TRS. I really been digging those boards. The Rosnell 1 sticks out, or even going with like a Revenant or a Resurgence from them. To an extent, the Niche Story kind of fits in there. The Aether's a little wonkapotamus at times. You might like some of the stuff from Arbor, maybe a Coda, or you even go up to Wasteland. Is it Wasteland? Yeah, I think it's the Wasteland. That would be another one to consider. Those would be some of the big standouts, just because they got that added grip tech in there, or magna traction, or serrated edges, or whatever the hell they're calling it. All right. Sterling Reed. Hey, man, picked up the Peace Seeker like you recommended. Have the Holy Grail and a flagship that I run cleavers on. Think they'll be good for the Peace Seeker, or should I look for new bands? No, save your cash, man. Just run the cleavers on it. You'll be fine. All right. Steven Mendoza. My God, thank you for calling out the woke disease, Burton. I'm going to call it how I see it. They don't give a shit. I say this with a little brother that's black. Got a lot of friends that are minorities that snowboard. I'll support them till the day they die. Junior Kuro, any advice to make sure my two kids don't get afraid of the first chairlifts they will take when the season starts? Here's what you need to do. If they're really little, get the backpack with the handle on the top that's for with the chest clip on it, and just get used to put them on each side of you and just pick them up, put them down. They'll be fine. I mean, that's it. Maybe run some drills at home on the couch, because if you explain to them that the chairlift is nothing more than a flying couch and they're going to get to fly on the couch, it becomes a game to them. I mean, this is what we do with my 2-year-old nephew. We just tell him it's the flying couch, and he's like, oh, he gets all excited. But you get the little harness on the back, you pick them up, you put them on there, and they should be good to go. All right, we got Shylinks just off work, one for the wheel. Yes! I'll give you that for that super chat, sir. Summer tourists are the worst. Although summer's almost over. They're finally going to be gone. All right. Fruit Poop Loops with the super chat. Fire cures all. Okay. All right, Noodles. With having supination in the feet, weight rolls to the outside of the foot. Yeah, I know what supination is. I was a boot fitter. Would canted bindings be better or worse? They're going to be worse because you're rolling out. So you're pushing out, and it's going to push you in. It's going to try to compensate. You should try to find something that's going to just be neutral on that. And then what you want to do is with your aftermarket footbed, which I've actually got a video in the Boot Fitting 101, with your aftermarket footbed, because you're rolling, you're putting your weight on the outside, so you can actually cant the footbed just a little bit. Because most bindings, like most people that have supination like that, they're 1 degree or less, and most canted bindings are really like, fuck, man, they're running 2 to 3 degrees these days, which is just absurd. I mean, if you can find one that's like 1.5, it'll probably be fine for you, but most of them, you want that flat binding in there, and then you just cant your footbed a little bit better. So, yeah. All right, we got Noodles with the super chat. Thanks for all the info. +1 on the kid harness. Hell yeah. Eat your muscle cheese, people. Logic Gates, thoughts on the 2023 Yes Typo? It's a solid all-mountain freestyle board. It's got that cam rocker profile to it, so you get that loaded camber underfoot. You got that rocker in the tip of the tail. Makes it buttery, ease of entry into turns, a little bit better powder flow. It's got some side tech to it in the side cut, so it'll grip. Overall, it's just a really good board. All right, we got Anthony Hawking with the super chat. How big does this channel have to get before we're able to buy Angry brand pocket bacon? So I've been looking into this. I can white label pocket bacon, I think. But the problem is I'd rather partner with a good company that does it rather than some of these other ones that'll just white label it for it. But I have been looking into pocket bacon as a whole thing. I would really like to partner with Schaller and Weber, and my friend Jesse is their marketing guy. So I keep bringing it up, but I would love to have Angry branded pocket bacon as a snowboarder snack, which reminds me, I should probably trademark snowboarder snacks. Anyways, it could happen. It could happen. All right, summer tourists are the worst. I see we got some new people tuning in here. If you're just getting in here, you got a question, get it in the chat box wherever you need it in there. Super chats do get a spin of the wheel. All right. Okay. Jack Frost, have the Burton Deep Thinker just picked up a Karua Dart. Too much overlap. Deep Thinker will be my daily. No, because the Dart, you're going to realize when you ride it, it's a better carving board than the Deep Thinker. It's going to become a corduroy killer for you. I also think the Deep Thinker is actually better in powder. So, all right. Timothy Chen, do you think 10,000 millimeter waterproof glove mittens are good enough for normal riding conditions? Or is it best? I feel like that's fucking overkill. You want your gloves to breathe. Otherwise, you're going to have fucking sweaty steak hands going on. Then you're going to take your hand out and it's going to be all steamy and you're going to touch stuff and it's going to freeze. Then you're going to look like Flick from A Christmas Story. And you're going to be like, my hand, it's stuck. And then someone's going to have to pee on it to get it off. All right. All right. Tyler Kim, when do you think a board should be replaced? Bigger question is, do you think your board should be replaced? I mean, if it's clapped out, like if it was a cambered board and you put it down on the ground and it's just flat, there's no camber, it's flexing more, you notice it kicks out, like maybe you got a lot of really deep scratches in the base that have been filled and they're starting to pop out, your edges are blown in, stuff like that. Like, I'll literally ride something until the thing just is dead and I'm like, this doesn't pop anymore. And then I'm like, time to get a new one. All right. Okay, let's see what we got here. Done living with the nerd superposition pair up well with a ride warpig. Yeah, that's actually a really good compliment to it because you get the warpig as more like your party board, freestyle focused, play around butter, can still kind of carve, and then you go with the superposition as more of your carver, a little bit better in powder, in my opinion, just because it's more directional shape. It's got better snap on it. We got Trey Boro 01. Your thoughts on season snowboards? It's Evo's store brand stuff. That's all it is. It's a lot of old nitro shapes. So let's see. Okay, we got a super chat here from Ryan Grote. Yo, man, thank you for putting yourself live on the web to help all of us. Keep up the good work. Well, I'm not going anywhere. You guys are stuck with me for at least another year. Although retirement does sound great. Smash that like button, people. All right, we got Marley. What are some good bindings to match the 21 Spring Break Powder Twin? So I would do like Union Stratas, K2 Lean AT, maybe like a bent metal joint, and possibly a Rome Vice. So yeah. Joshua McIntosh. How many and what types of boards do you think an intermediate rider needs for a typical season? I.e., how can I convince my wife to let me buy more? You don't. In all honesty, man, you need one, maybe two boards. You need an all-mountain freestyle board that is your jack of all trades, do everything board that you are going to master that board. You're going to learn how to carve in every type of condition, steep, flat, lumpy, chundery, heavy snow, dry snow. You're going to just master that, and then you're going to get yourself a party pow board, so a volume-shifted pow board. Why? Because you're an intermediate. You don't need anything super aggressive. And that's the two boards you're going to have. And that's it. And the money that you save on buying snowboards, you're going to dump it back into going on more snowboard vacations. And by snowboard vacations, I mean you're going to drag your wife along because I assume she doesn't snowboard, or if she does and she's still bitching about stuff, and you're going to send her on a spa day so you can go rip it really hard and keep her happy. Happy wife, happy life. This is why I'm single. All my wives, their exes, hate me. Malin Roberts, if you could only have one board for a whole season, what would you choose? I choose whatever I want every year, and that's what I ride. This year, it's going to be the Shadow Band. That board's absolutely fucking phenomenal. All right. Waco is the Jones. Stratus just a mountain twin with a different shape. Pretty much. It's really what it is. It's a visual story because you look at the shape on it being a little bit different, but it rides just like a mountain twin. Okay, SFD King. Have a hard time with goggles. I currently have the Smith IOXs. Would love something wider. Anything you'd recommend? Yeah, you probably want to go with like an electric EG3 if you want wider on that. That's going to be like super, super friggin' wide. And then Dragon changes their names all the time, but Dragon does make one that's like crazy wide. And because I remember I put it on, I was like, holy shit, this thing's so wide. It was like pinching the side of my face, and then I could like feel like get air underneath. But yeah. Okay. Mel Birdie, when you rode the Signal Park Pro, how did it feel? It's a park board with snap. It just felt like a little bit snappier version of the regular park board. It's like it feels like an old school cambered twin snowboard. Like there's nothing mind blowing to it. Like you get out and you're like, I have ridden this 1,000 times before. You know it's going to load and snap because it's traditional camber. It's got good sweet spots in it. It's just how it feels. It feels like an old school twin cambered snowboard from like 2005. It's amazing. All right, we got a super chat from Joshua McIntosh. Not what I wanted to hear, but what I needed to hear. Cheers. Yeah. Sometimes I don't give you the advice you want. I give you the advice you need. It's kind of how I roll around here. Ooh, lose a turn. That's rough. Sean Wilson, how far into this Colorado season do you reckon we'll need to be before it's safe to swap the rock board for the new board? My money is on January. Depends on snowfall. I mean, I've ridden brand new boards second day of the season because we just had that much snow and it was that solid. I've also seen it years where it's been so bad I was riding them to the end of January, riding rock boards. So it kind of depends. Ooh, Peak Pirate. What is the most dentist setup of all time? Oh, it's not even what you think it is. That's the best part about it. So for anyone that doesn't understand the dentist reference, Kevin and I used to have a scale of like when shit was just obscenely overpriced for what you got. We're like, that's a dentist board. You have dentist money. And then if it was past dentist money, it became oral surgeon money because those guys always have money. If you ever need to borrow money from someone, find a dentist or an oral surgeon. For some reason, they just have cash. They also have access to gold and silver too. Just saying. But yeah, so I think it would be whatever that was, it the Louis Vuitton board or whatever the fuck it was that was like $7,000. That stupid Kylie ass Jenner was riding down in Aspen. That thing, which was a hunk of shit, but $7,000 for that fucking thing. And then they made there was some like fashion designer that made some kind of whack ass snowboard boot that was like half snowboard boot, half binding. That people, it was a fashion thing. You weren't meant to actually snowboard in it, but yeah, that. But if you really want to go with it, I think if you could find a set of the old flow bindings that were plated 24 karat gold, that's a pretty damn dentist thing to ride. But typically, when I think of dentist boards, it's usually a Libtech Orca with Burton step-ons. Like I see that and I'm like, that's a dentist. That is a fucking dentist setup. So yeah. Okay. Mark Evans, I was able to demo a help of 22, 23 boards at Falls Creek about a week ago. Golden Orca, Gremlin, Mercury, Indoor Survival, and the Solomon 6-stick. Good for you, man. It's always good to get out and demo some stuff. Okay. Ooh, I'm getting emails. It's great. All right, Kevin Gone. Damp, solid, predictable bindings for K2 Alchemist, hard charging, Rome Cleaver, Nitro Phantom Carver. The Cleaver's more predictable than the Phantom Carver. The Phantom Carver is stiffer, but not by much. But I would probably put the Cleaver on the Alchemist. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Stop talking about clickers. Clickers are awful. Nothing is sicker with clicker. SFD King, what's the furthest distance you've traveled to ride? I don't know, like 5,000 miles, something like that. 4,000, 36, 3,600,000. I don't know. Fucking too much. Yeah. All right. Hopefully the connection's doing well. We've got a thunderstorm rolling through. I have a feeling we're probably going to lose power tonight. So, ooh, sweet. We got a dividend today of 7 cents a share. Hell yeah, I'm rich. I'm rich. All right. All right, Malin Roberts, K2 Thraxis that much better than the Nidecker Helios? I mean, for me it is. I don't know. For you, the best boot's the one that fits your foot. So go try them on. See, the reason I ride the Thraxis is it gives me great ankle support. I like it. Although lately, as I get older, I'm like, maybe I should go to a softer boot. I don't know. Unbent crayfish. If someone wanted a sticker pack, how much of a super chat would make it happen? Why don't they just go on angrysnowboarderstore.com and buy one? She can buy merchandise over there too, which I got to put some new stuff up here, hopefully. So, all right, let's see. Okay, 4x4 therapy, steeper terrain. If tackling steeper terrain, is it better to have a stiffer board? Would you ride a longer board, e.g., not a volume shifted board? Volume shifted party board. Yeah, I would go with a regular longer board. It's not necessarily that it's stiffer. It's just that the surface area is spread further out, so you get like more effective edge to dig in when you're in that variable terrain and whatnot. I mean, stiffer. It depends on the snow. Like if I was riding chunky ass, hard, frozen, crusty shit, I'd want something softer so I could manipulate it more. But if it's just wide open blower pow, and I need something that's going to push through any crud underneath, then yeah, I would go with a stiffer board for sure. Let's see. Mr. Force 10, groomer board for Mount Hood, thanks. I mean, if you're just looking for a groomer carver, I'd grab the Nerd Superposition. Okay, J Cloud. Also, where did you get that badass side slip and slim poster behind you? Oh, yeah. So this one right there. So I actually I contracted out an artist. So there's 3 of them. There's side slip and slim, no knees Nick, and carving Kevin. You can buy all of those. You can buy the posters on angrysnowboarderstore.com if that's something you want. The company that does them, like they actually do the frame and everything. So if you want, that's how I ordered it. I think it was I can't remember what the price was for that one, but yeah, it's on the store. So yeah. So yeah. All right. Okay. Adam Finley, what should I look for in a shop for a bass grind? I don't want to get my board messed up. Ask them a bunch of fucking questions. Ask them how long they've been tuning shit. Ask them if they know the difference between a crosshatch and a straight pattern. If they don't, probably don't want it. Most of those shops, if the dude looks crusty and he looks like he's been chain smoking Marlboros for 30 years, his skin's kind of leathery like Clint Eastwood, he probably knows what the fuck he's doing. So, yeah. Right. Sean Wilson, are those your teeth stubs framed behind you? No. These are Jared Hattie's from Videograss, the first one. This is actually, so he smashed his teeth out in the movie, and you can actually see it. This is the actual photo from his dentist when they took it, and then he autographed it. I won it in a contest from Solomon Bonfire. So Ryan Rose sent me that. So it's been one of my prized possessions that I like to keep around. Just a little piece of history of snowboarding. I've got some other stuff in the other room that I keep around. I don't keep too much of that. I actually just got an autographed Dale Rayberg picture from the bomb hole. I've got to get framed and then get that posted up. Anyways, we're slowing down. So unless you guys got more questions, I'm going to dip out of here. So hopefully get them in because I'm getting hungry. All I've eaten today is 2 donuts and a banana. Okay, let's see what we got here. Anthony Hawking, Evo bundle, the new Hyper with the bent metal transfer for 827. Decent pairing. Yeah, actually, that's a pretty super solid deal right there. I'd probably do it. Okay. Herbert Marmaton with the super chat. Getting hip surgery next week and no snowboard for 6 months, depending. Definitely will be karate chopping people trying to ride the lift with me. Hell yeah! Remember, when in doubt, outside your palm, right to the throat. Just, yeah, throat chop. Not a punch, throat chop. They never see it coming. Drink your Zima, people. Drink your Zima. Colton Buchanan, haven't been on in a while, so sorry if you've addressed this already, but when is the Nidecker Supermatics review coming out? They will be September 1st, so you're a couple weeks out. Ship Shop Chris, wreck the tail on my K287 where the edge is jointed. Could stick a bumper on there. Good idea. No, don't do a bumper. That's stupid. What you want to do is drill it, get a screw rivet, and epoxy. And so you're going to put the threads for the screw rivet in with some epoxy. Then you're going to put super glue or crazy glue or whatever on the thread of the screw rivet. You're going to tighten that shit down and you'll be fine. It's going to look metal as fuck because you're going to have these rivets on the tip of it, but you'll be good. Anthony Shiro, what is your recommendations for stance angles for a 4-year-old that wants to ride Goofy? Set them up Goofy and just let them go, man. It could be 0-0. They're a kid. They're 4. They don't know. Fuck, they just learned how to wipe their own ass. No, just make it fun, dude. When they're that age, you make snowboarding fun. You let them do whatever the hell they want. It's a game to them. You make it a game. You make them enjoy it. They're going to want to keep snowboarding. That's the big thing. So, yeah, anyways. All right. So I think we're going to call it a day. I need to get some food in me. So, yeah, take a few more and then we're out of here. DR, what is going on with the new Sims boards? Are they worthwhile? They're made at a good factory. The guys that I've talked to that have ridden them have said it. But, I mean, what it is Sims Japan, which has always been separate than Sims USA, bought the license for Sims USA, dumped a bunch of money. This is the whole marketing push. Oh, we're a throwback. We're trying to do this. We've been around since 1963 or whatever the fuck they're doing, or 1878. I don't know. And that's the whole thing. Like, I haven't ridden them. Most of the shops that sell them are like, dude, we haven't moved them, or we've moved a few. They're just not moving product. At this point, Sims has to overcome its own history that it created, and unfortunately, that history is that it was a Sports Authority price point brand, that it was ran by Never Summer, that, you know, it tanked, it came back, it did all this shit. It's like, who cares? So, yeah. Okay. Andy Walker, how long is it to say to ride old bindings? Bindings are 4 years old, burnt, maybe 150 days. They still seem okay. Got a free set of new ratchets. Ride them till they die. At 4 years, that's not that old. Like, I mean, I rode shit. I would just get new straps and high backs every year for a set of. I had a couple sets of K2s that I was just doing that too, and I think I rode them for like 6 years. What you want to look for is every year, just take them, flip them upside down, look at the base of them, look for any stress cracks, or if the plastic is turning chalky white. If it's turning chalky white, that means that the composites, the nylon and everything in there are starting to die, and they will crack because they're going from hot to cold. But bindings actually last longer than most people. Like, it's funny. I was actually going to film a video today on, because I'm doing a whole series on trashed gear, like what you can expect after 100+ day season. So I was going to do a video on my black labels. So these are first year black labels, and I've got 3 pairs of them. I retired 1 pair because it's just a parts thing. So I got 2 that I ride, but I don't think I have a pair that I'm currently riding that has less than probably 250 days on it. Like, that shit will be good. Yeah. Okay. Jenny F., what would be your board pick for sharing time between off-piste and carving? Our powder usually isn't and it's relatively steep terrain. I'd probably just grab like an Amplid or maybe like a Karua Pencil Plus, like an Amplid Solely Grail, or maybe what is it? Maybe it's like a Singular or something like that from them. Shylinks, are you ready for kooky setups in the lift line? I love going resort antiquing, looking around and going, I owned that 25 years ago. Holy shit, I can't believe it still exists. So, yeah. Jackson, Granrud, thoughts on the now bindings? They're super solid. They do their job. I love Skate Tech. It gives you a different power dynamic when you're transferring the power from the toe to the heel. You just notice that it puts more power down in the board. Bren De La Torre, you read Flux bindings recently? No. I think the snug fit and quick reaction time is second to none. Your personal thoughts? They have no dampening underfoot, and they're one of the most uncomfortable bindings I've ever been on. Tyler Kim, how does the new Jones Mind Expander ride compared to the old one? It's camber. So the old one was flat to rocker, so it was more loose, and it slashed a lot easier. It didn't have the precision. Now that it's got camber, you get more precision. You're getting more power. It's got more snap out of it. Personally, I think it rides like a downgraded Ultra Mind Expander. It's more approachable for the everyman, and it still has decent powder float. All right. Anyways, I think we're going to call it a day. Been here about an hour and a half, so I got stuff I want to do. I'm having a day. So we're going to call it new video tomorrow. You got a review coming that. You got a video, explain video dropping on Monday, new top 5, which will be the top 5 best, worst reviews of Stevens Pass on Wednesday. So, as we work our way through Vail Resort's best, worst reviews, we've got that going on. Also, if you haven't done the poll on the community tab for the channel, please do that, because I need to know how many people will be willing to watch a 40-plus minute video, because I'm working on that pant deconstruction. Product reviews start September 1st, so we got that going on. Anyways, if you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for you. And if you want to support us, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. There's always links down in the description, so if you need that, click it. And yeah, see you guys in another video.